It was time for me to begin my journey on the West Highland Way.
Oh, bless. So, been to Drymen. I had a lovely little whiskey. It was Loch Lomond Original, because that sounded like the most local one. And I do like my Highland whiskies. And now I'm trying to find a wild camp. No idea, because apparently people have been having problems with wild camping in this area, so I'm going to have to be a bit careful. But again, I slept in Glasgow last night, like in a bush in Glasgow. So at this point, I don't care. I literally don't care anymore. People can try and move me on, but it's not going to happen. I've walked 800 miles. They can let me sleep in a bush for one night. I'm not going to make any mess. I haven't made a mess the entire time that I've been walking. So I should be okay. I'm getting pretty good at this wild camping lark anyway. So yeah. Well, it looks like it's definitely going to fucking storm tonight, so I need as much cover as possible. So I'm being really picky about where I stay tonight. I've seen a couple of places that aren't too bad, but it doesn't offer enough shelter. I want something that's like really thick and dense. I think I might be walking into a forest. I hope I'm walking into a forest. I guess we'll see. But at the moment it's not looking that good. It's just the equivalent of moorland. Well, we'll see if that takes me into the forest. Hopefully it will, and hopefully it'll be nice and covered. Some forest ahead, which is a good sign. Means hopefully I'll find somewhere to camp now. I just want like one good tree that would just cover me, that I can tie my tarp to. I should find it in here. It looks like it's really dense now, so that's good. I found a way into the forest now, so I'm just going to try and find somewhere pretty flat and nice to camp really. There's a few options. A lot of it's bumpy though. Oh, I think I found a nice little spot over there. Not as much coverage as I wanted. See, I was hoping for like dense forest, but do you know what? This may have to do. This might have to do for tonight. Oh, I just found somewhere people have camped before, so this could be me. It's quite wet for a fire, but if I could get one going, that would be really nice. For this, I think it's going to be me. Just got to find the biggest, densest tree I can find now.
Sometimes when the environment doesn't give you what you want, you have to improvise and make a shelter for yourself. But sometimes it doesn't quite go to plan.
So to make my little shelter, I've literally just moved a giant log over to there, and then I've made a little like a proper frame. This is a wedge to make sure that it doesn't like roll on top of me in the middle of the night, although that is still a massive risk. I could wake up with a very unpleasant bump on the head. I am looking for something else that might just make sure that it's not going anywhere. But other than that, my tarp is up and over my bivvy, so I should be in for a dry night if it does start pissing with rain. It does feel like it's going to rain, which is a massive shame because it means I ain't going to be able to have a fire in that beautiful little fireplace there. But I need to start hurrying up and making some food before it rains. Just got my pot noodle on the go. I've got a nice cup of tea, and yeah, I'm quite happy. It's very dark now. It's very, very windy. I don't think it helps that I'm in a forest, but yeah, so I'm just going to eat this, and then I've got some stroop waffles that I haven't had since I was in Amsterdam last, so that's really good. I'm really happy that I found that. Like, I think the only place that does that is Starbucks, so I love stroop waffles. They're like, I was obsessed with them while I was out in Europe, so that's really good. And I think I'm hopefully going to have a nice comfortable night. Hopefully that won't crush me in the morning. But other than that, yeah.
Well, I'm in bed now, and tonight is really claustrophobic actually. And I think it's because I'm paranoid that that big fucking thing of wood is going to come down and smash me in the face tonight. So I'm really scared to actually move. But at the same time, I know I'm going to be more waterproof if I just keep it. Although I don't even know if it's going to rain, but I'm pretty sure I read it was going to rain, and it looked like it was going to rain, so it's always a risk, it's always a risk. Last night it was Glasgow, and tonight it's possibly getting squashed by a log. Good morning. I had an okay sleep last night. It wasn't too bad. It got a bit damp inside the bivvy, but that's just condensation. It didn't rain last night, so all that effort was for nothing. But it's better to be safe than sorry. And it's about 7:30 now. I really should be up already, to be honest with you, but it doesn't look like I've actually got a very long walk today. It looks like I've only got like 10 miles, so I might do an extra few. But today I finally get to go to Loch Lomond, which I'm really excited for. So yeah, I'm going to get up, have some breakfast and get going.
Right, and I'm now back on the road. Should be able to get to the bottom of Loch Lomond, like the south of Loch Lomond, I'm about 5 miles, and there should be a little cafe there where I'm going to have a nice cup of tea, charge my phone, and then I've got another 5 miles to my final destination, which is Rowardenan or something like that. That's where I'm headed. There's just loads of wild camping places I've just like walked past now. So great, I feel like I'm actually finally in the wild. I felt like I was finally in my element, and being that the West Highland Way was such a popular trail, I made some new friends. So just over there is Loch Lomond, and getting really close now, so I'm actually looking forward to a cup of tea when I get to, I can't remember what the place is called now, but that's the one, Balmaha. And I've also met this lady, what's your name?
Siobhan.
Siobhan, as
Hi.
I was walking. And now you're going to be internet famous.
Yes! Lifelong dream.
Yeah. So now I think we're just going to keep walking.
Oh, why did you start with the hardest one?
Well,
Oh
obviously.
shit, I didn't realise it was the hardest one. It's like at least start with the difficult one. Well, that was the
We get a lot of like So I've just had a nice little break in Balmaha cafe, and now I'm walking on the shores of Ben Lomond. And I'm about to go and listen to the song.
There is an old Celtic belief that when a man dies in a foreign land, his spirit returns via the low road. In 1745, 2 Scottish soldiers were made captive in Carlisle, one of whom was to be set free, the other executed. It is the condemned man who will return to Scotland by way of the low road of death and reach Loch Lomond before his friend, who must travel the earthly high road.
By yon bonny banks and by yon bonny braes, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond, where me and my true love were ever wont to gaze, on the bonny, bonny banks o' Loch Lomond.
I just found the outdoorsman's favourite friend, Usnea, or Old Man's Beard. So maybe I might even get a fire tonight.
And I'll be in Scotland afore ye, but me and
Just found myself some pine needles to go with my Usnea. I might make a really nice little tea tonight actually.
'Twas there that we parted in yon shady glen, on the steep sides o' Ben Lomond, where in purple hue the Highland hills we view, and the moon coming out in the gloaming. And you'll take the high road, and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland afore ye, but me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks o' Loch Lomond. birdies sing, and the wildflowers spring, and in sunshine the waters are sleeping. But the broken-hearted kens nae second spring again, though the waif-who may see spray their greeting. And you'll take the high road, and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland afore ye. But me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks o' Loch Lomond, on the bonny, bonny banks o' Loch Lomond.
Legal to wild camp on Loch Lomond, so I had to stay in a campsite tonight, and I'm right next to the water, so I'm getting eaten alive by midges. During my walk along Loch Lomond, I met two lovely German girls named Sina and Mona. During shower.
Like when we're at least a bit pretty.
I know you guys are beautiful the way you are.
We take the shower.
Ricky gets a shower tonight.
The next morning, Sina, Mona, and myself decided to walk together.
So yesterday I met these two hotties from Germany, and they're sporting the finest of waterproof clothing today. Absolutely rocking it. And so they convinced me to stay at the campsite instead of getting fined £500 for wild camping. So I got a nice shower, and it was really, really cool. So now we're all walking to Inveranan together, and yeah, and they came here because they like Outlander. They don't like walking, they don't like bad weather, they like Outlander, so they came to Scotland.
You're searching for Jamie.
Whoever Jamie is. Like everyone knows I don't watch TV. But yeah, so I'll let you know how that goes. Really close to the end of the first part. How are you feeling?
Good.
Yeah?
Nice.
They haven't complained even half as much as I thought they would.
They're professional hikers.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. She's been setting the pace, right? I can't even keep up with her. So, absolute legend. Showing me how it's done. Are you sure? So I've just made it to Rowardenan cave, so now I'm going to try. Apparently it's really difficult to get to, but I'm going to give it a go. I haven't got my bag on me or anything, so I'm going to see if I can get there. I've already tried a lot of climbing and I've survived. So it's not going to be so bad. Are you coming? Oh, do you know what? I think you're awesome. Like, we have to be best friends from now on. Where everyone else was too scared to go, Ricky and Sina prevailed. Sina decided to follow me, which I don't know if she's crazy or awesome, but I've got a lot more respect for her now. I'm sorry for calling you a princess. Right.
Finally.
Okay, let's get up there. I don't think this is too bad, to be honest with you. Right, it's quite slippery. Need any help? Good? No worries. It's not obvious how to get there, that's the only thing. They were totally not lying, that was really hard to get to. It's just up there. So me and Sina are going to get to the top because we're badasses like that. Just don't fall in the water. Okay, so Sina couldn't get past the last little really difficult bit, so I'm going in alone. And this part is definitely a climb. And it's wet as hell, so I'm not going to record me doing this bit. I made it to the top and there's the cave right there. So I think I deserve a giant high five for that great effort. This marks Rowardenan cave and I'm going in. Wow. This is really creepy, there's loads and loads of spiders and shit in here. This is so cool. Let me just get to the tiny little part of the light. That's how you, I guess, maybe get out. I don't know where the fuck that would lead, so I might just have to go back the way I went. I'll have a little look. First. I just found myself in a really dodgy predicament where I can't get down. And I'm just shouting, Scheiße! Okay. Right. I think I found the way. Yes. Yes! This is actually the way you're supposed to come. That was awesome. Completely worth it. Okay, we're back on the trail. We're heading for Inveranan now. just found my first bothy of the trail, for me anyway, and we're going to go and have a little look inside. This is awesome. So this is what a bothy is. It's like a big house, and yeah, so you like put your mattress down there or something like that, and then you can sleep there. They've got a fireplace so you can dry your clothes out and shit. Yeah. And then they've got lots of stuff. Let's take a break here, I think. I just had a nice little pot of noodle because I was so hungry actually. Sina and Mona have left. They've just gone ahead because they were worried about time. So they've just gone ahead, so I'm going to be on my own for a bit. Tiny little harbour down there, and it reminds me so much of Newfoundland. Like this whole area just reminds me so much of being in Newfoundland. I love it so much. Although I was sure I would see Sina and Mona again, it was at the next campsite that I made two new friends, two Dutch guys named Willem and Arnold. So I met these two awesome Dutch guys yesterday. Well, actually I met you a couple of days ago at the youth hostel, and today we decided to walk together as a bunch of lads.
And it's lovely weather out.
Absolutely beautiful weather. Look at that
Scottish
sun.
weather.
And they're having a great time, aren't you?
We're having a great time. The best of times.
Think of the view.
Beautiful.
It's amazing. Oh man, catching my breath.
Worth the climb though, right?
Yeah.
Definitely worth the time. Yeah, but like the way they live, I like to be a fucking hobbit.
Second breakfast.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Is it because of the extra food that you get?
And smoking herbs, drinking beer,
Yeah, that's true.
sitting in bed.
Wow, this is the most haunting forest I've seen.
Along our travels we found some tombs and graves, and eventually we found something really interesting. The Loch of the legendary lost sword is the mythical resting place of Robert the Bruce's sword, said to have been cast into the watery depths after the Battle of Dunrye. But this wasn't the only thing I found.
The Dutch guys decided to stay at a campsite way back there, but I'm going to continue. But look who I found! I can't get rid of them.
I caught up with Sina and Mona for a little while before they decided to go to their campsite, and I headed into the mountains.
So I finally ended up on my own, and it couldn't have been a better time because, my god, the views have just become absolutely outstanding. Like, I've really got into some mountains now, and this is exactly why I chose to do this walk.
The deeper into the mountains I went, it started looking quite bad for me. The weather was coming in, and I had nowhere to camp.
So having the luxury of a campsite for the last 2 nights has just made me a bit like, wild camping. But honestly, that's why I came to Scotland. That's why I wanted to do this walk, was for the wild camping. So hopefully I'll find a nice place. But as you can see, it's a bit sparse at the moment. There's one like big artificial looking kind of forest over there, but I already know that's not somewhere I can camp. It's just going to be bumpy and horrible inside, so I just have to keep going for a bit. But the weather is working against me. I can already feel the rain coming in. It's definitely going to rain tonight. I need to find somewhere with coverage, because last night I woke up, well this morning I woke up with a puddle in my bivvy, and I still had the tarp over me, so even the tarp can keep the rainwater out properly. It wasn't as bad as the time that I didn't use the tarp, but it was bad enough to annoy me this morning. I know that's wild living for you, but still, it's still annoying. Luckily, the view is just outstanding. Look at that, look at all of that. It's just 360 awesome. It's a flat, completely flat, and well, it's just a path that keeps going on and on and on, with nowhere really to camp. There's that forest there, but it means I have to cross over, well, first a gate, like a fence, then over a train track, then another fence, then a busy A road, and then up a hill, and then a bloody another fence. And there's a fucking good chance, a huge chance, I ain't gonna find somewhere to sleep in there, because I've already been in a forest just like that, and they ain't flat, they ain't built for camping. It's not like I haven't done this before, so I have no idea. Like, I met these 2 people from Glasgow, and they're wild camping the whole way and doing a really good job, and I met them back at a shop that I was like resupplying my stuff. But I stupidly stayed for 4 cans of really shitty beer. I really wish I didn't do that now. I wish I just followed them. because I have no idea where they are and I have no idea where they could be camping tonight. All I know is this sucks. Look, I'm already drenched and cold. Ugh. But it's okay. It's fine. I just need to find some trees, which seems like it's going to be an impossible job now. There's just nothing. I just got to the top of that hill and it's just flat after that for ages, and then I've just come to a point where it's going to be moors, so there's not going to be any trees here either. I think I'm being too picky, and I have no idea what time the sun goes down because I can't bloody see it. It's just bad. It's just not good. I think I see maybe some forest way in the distance, but that looks like it could be another 2 miles or something. But I'm not going to give up because I ain't camping. I mean, at the moment I physically can't camp. There's nowhere to camp. But I'm also not settling for somewhere I can't. I'm going to camp and wake up wet or pissed off or whatever, demotivated. So I'm just going to have to keep going. But it's 8 o'clock now. The last time I checked, the sun goes down at 9:30, but it is a bit later now. It's like mid August, so I have no idea what time the sun goes down. I didn't check. I should have checked that. I need to start checking that when I get some internet. I've got no signal as well, so I'm not able to contact anyone, but that's okay because I haven't got anyone to worth contacting in these sort of situations anyway. You know, no one's come this far anyway, so it's a nice stream though. Look at that. So at least I've got water. I've got an abundance of water because it keeps coming out of the bloody sky. But it's okay. Found my Scottish friends, they're just down there, but there's not enough trees to cover me, and I can still see some trees in the distance, so I'm going to keep going, I think. I'm not going to disturb them either. Leave them to their nights.
I continued on for a little bit longer until I found a nice crevice just inside the hill that I hoped would give me shelter, but it was about to be one of the worst nights I would have on this entire walk.
I just want to grumble a little bit and just say that inside of my bivvy is still sodden from the fact that it didn't keep rain out last night. Like, look, it's already wet, like on the outside obviously, because it was packed away wet, because it was already fucking wet. And inside is also wet. That is wet. So I'm about to get into a wet fucking bivvy in the rain for the whole night. I'm already cold. This is not nice. Oh, fucking hell. Oh. Jesus, getting in this bivvy wet while the wet that is inside is wet while it's raining, and trying to get changed and shit was not easy. It's still wet inside, like I can feel all the fucking water seeping in. The one and only really saving grace to this whole experience really is the bivvy will definitely keep me warm. I can't die of hypothermia because I'm going to be warm because everything's sealed up, so all the heat is kept inside and it will just circulate. But I'm definitely going to wake up cold and wet tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have like an hour or so of dry, no rain or whatever tomorrow, and I'll be able to get out. But the only way to stay dry, even my mat is wet, but that's obviously because I've been walking with it on. I haven't sorted out my pillow yet, but
The only way I can guarantee I stay dry is by having this, I don't know if you can see, I can't show you really, but it's an emergency bivvy bag, like one of those big orange bin bags, and I'm sleeping inside that, inside my sleeping bag, to make sure that my sleeping bag stays dry, because it's the one and only hard thing to get bloody dry other than my bivvy. So that sucks. I just can't get anything dry. Just constantly wet at this point, which is annoying, but at least it's going to keep me warm as well. The bivvy should keep me warm. The emergency bivvy bag, this thing, should keep me warm. So at least I'm not going to die of hypothermia, but that's about as far as it's good, to be honest with you. Just got to sort out my pillow. That's all I can do really. I'm just going to have to lay here and wait. Yeah. Oh well. I'll be in Fort William soon. Good night. Unfortunately for me, I woke up in the middle of the night with drips on my head, and I realised that the rain was beginning to fall. Eventually, my bivvy became saturated, and I was beginning to take on water inside. A storm finally broke out, and I was cold, dark, and afraid, with no phone signal in the middle of the mountains, completely alone. By this point in my walk, I had slept in deep valleys, high hills, farmer fields, forests, golf courses with sprinklers, blazing heat, menacing storms, the floors of churches, a graveyard, and even a bush in Glasgow. But nothing compared to that one night on the West Highland Way in the middle of the mountains, when the storm broke out and my bivvy completely failed me. This is a really shitty situation to be in, but just kind of tried to calm down a little bit, because I've just been getting really pissed off with all the water in my bivvy and the weather. Well, I'm not pissed off at the weather. I expected the weather. I just expected my bivvy to keep me a bit more dry than it has done. But to be honest with you, I've kind of calmed down now. I'm just thinking about all my heroes and people like Ranulph Fiennes and Levison Wood, Ed Stafford, and how they've done a ton more walking than me. They've done, just a ridiculous amount of crazy situations they must have been in, and it kind of makes me feel a bit better that, if they can get through what they did, then surely I can survive a couple of nights in the pissing rain on the mountains. Fair enough, I have a leaky bivvy, but I just got to sort of pull myself together a little bit. This has got to be one of the harder nights for me. I don't know if it's the hardest night, but it's just unpleasant. But I think that's what the mind over matter thing is. It's like, you got to just tell yourself, do you know what? You can get through this, and you will get through this, and I will. I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning, and I'm going to get dressed, and I'm going to keep walking. So it means that I am going to be getting through this, whether it's uncomfortable or not, whether I'm cold or too hot, whatever it is, I'm still going to be waking up tomorrow, and I'm still going to be walking tomorrow. So it's just a mind over matter thing. I'm not quitting. That's just not even an option for me. And this whole walk, I've not even considered once quitting, going home, or anything like that. So, and definitely not now. I'm so close to the end. But just laying here when you've got puddles of water, the rain is getting worse. You can hear it outside getting worse. It does make it hard. Definitely makes it hard. But a little bit of time of thinking, chilling out and calming down, and I feel a bit better. Good morning. Well, 7 o'clock, and the only reason why I'm getting up at 7 instead of 6 is because it was pissing with rain for the last hour. It's just stopped. So I guess that's nature telling me it was time to get up at 7, not 6. Everything in my bivvy is wet, but luckily I had black bags and stuff to keep anything I kept in it dry. My sleeping bag is saturated. For future reference, sleeping inside an emergency bivvy bag like this thing, it gets condensated in the inside, so you're gonna get wet anyway. Well, I did anyway, so my sleeping bag's still wet. The inside of it seems to be fairly dry. I'm just feeling about now and it seems to be kind of dry, but the actual inside of my bivvy bag is just fucking wet, like puddle wet. So that's really annoying, but oh well, it doesn't matter. I'm in Scotland, so who gives a shit? I'm just gonna get up now and try and make some miles. Oh. As I was packing up camp, I made friends with a French couple, Robin and Emma.
Just met these two when I was waking up, and they came and talked to me.
Hi, I'm Emma.
Hey, I'm Ruben.
They're from France.
Hey, bonjour.
Awesome. Lucky I know the tiniest little bit of French. The scenery is absolutely beautiful. It's so nice. So now I'm walking with them today for a bit. Or who knows, because we're all going to the same place. So.
Myself, Robin and Emma decided to walk together for the next couple of days, and although it was wet and raining and miserable, it seemed a little bit brighter with them.
Trying to dry his socks out, so he's just putting them out in the wind, and his argument is it's not stupid if it's working. Up to Black Mount, which earlier looked quite ominous and dark and grey, and it looked like it was about to rain on us, but the sun's kind of coming out now, so that's really nice. I'm going to take a break soon, but the scenery just has been non-stop beautiful. This is exactly what I was looking for. weather's just getting completely relentless now. It's just rain and wind and stereotypically Scottish. How are you finding it, Robin? Not great. What about you, Emma? How are you feeling? I'll put little subtitles on that part. Breathing my heart off. So tonight I decided to go into a campsite, the Glen Coe mountain resort, because, well, first of all, it looks really cool. It's like a proper mountain resort, like it's all wooden and it looks really nice. Second of all, I was really hungry and I could smell the food and it was really hard to resist. It was quite cheap, it was like £6 or something just to stay here. But most of all, the main reason is because the weather's shit outside. It literally made a Czech girl cry. We actually turned up to the resort. I kind of talked to the guy and was trying to decide whether I was going to stay here or not. And then I turned around and there was this Czech girl that we'd met like ages ago on the path, and she was fucking crying from the weather we had today. I don't think it was that bad, but I have walked nearly 900 miles at this point, so not a lot phases me, I guess. But I kind of just had flashbacks of last night and on the mountains and with the pools of water in my bivvy, and I remembered my bivvy's still wet. So when he said there's a drying room here, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna stay here, dry my stuff out, have something to eat, relax, and then continue on tomorrow. But my bivvy is still not dry. It's like dark outside now, so I'm sat in the shower room, which is the only warm room there is, waiting still for my bivvy to fucking dry, and my sleeping bag as well, because that's wet too. It's annoying, but at least I'm gonna have something dry. I don't know where the hell I'm sleeping tonight, because I don't know if I can be bothered to try and put my tent up at bloody 10 o'clock at night, because the French couple that I was with today wants to leave at like 6, and that's a really good idea because the weather forecast says that the weather is going to turn bad at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So we can be on the Devil's Staircase up and down it and Kiln Lot 11 by midday, and that'll be a nice little end for lunchtime. There's a good chance I might end up sleeping in this fucking shower room / dry room, or even the toilet or something. I don't fucking know, but it's really annoying me now, the fact that I don't have a waterproof bivvy. When I get to Fort William, I need to get some sort of spray, like waterproof spray, and just waterproof the hell out of it, because it's just not working anymore. It's literally not keeping any water out, and that's the one function that it needs to do. But I guess it's part of the adventure, as I keep telling myself and people keep telling me. But, you know, I'm really close to the end now, so that's one good thing. So tonight I reach a new level of where the fuck is Ricky sleeping? Not a church. Nope. Not a graveyard. Nope. Not in a bush in Glasgow. Nope. In a shower room that also doubles as a drying room, because my bivvy is still wet. I paid £6 to sleep here. I'm not sleeping in a wet bivvy, and so I've just decided to set myself up on the floor until my bivvy is nice and dry for tomorrow. So when I go wild camping, sure, I might end up with a wet bivvy. I won't be getting into a wet bivvy because I paid £6 to dry the fucking thing. The only thing is I can't turn these lights off. So I've got to sleep with the lights on, but luckily I've got a trick for that. Indiana Jones style.
Good morning. believe it or not, I didn't sleep too badly other than waking up every minute. Because I was always thinking someone was going to come in, even though it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Who the hell was going to come in for a shower at 3 o'clock in the morning? But it's 5 o'clock. Got to get up so we can ditch that weather today. And yeah. So I've got about an hour to get myself ready, but luckily I don't have to do very much. So hopefully everything's dry and go up the Devil's Staircase today. I don't know if you can see how bloodshot my eyes are. Or 6:30 in the morning. We're ready to go. Everybody's tired as shit. And the rain is coming in already, so nobody is excited for this at all. And all of our boots are still wet, so what can you do? So we are headed back for the West Highland Way now, and we've got a few miles to walk, and then we've got to climb the Devil's Staircase. It's about 230 meters, but it's very steep. But hopefully it won't be slippy, and hopefully we would have missed too much of the rain. But it's not looking good. What's that mountain called? There's a mountain over there.
Oh, this is Mount Chris Leicester. Hello, Mount Chris Leicester. We are the mountain slayer.
Mountain Slayers, are you scared? No! Ready your weapons! We go to war! There you go. Do you not feel much safer now?
We survived the Devil's Staircase and the mountains and made it to Loch Leven, where we finally had to say goodbye.
Just say goodbye to the French couple, Emma and Robin. They're going to take a bus up to Fort William now because the weather was just really bad and they're really beat out, and this is just a holiday to them. It's not really like a massive challenge, so they're really, really nice, and it's just so much of my walk is saying goodbye to people. And yeah, hopefully I'll see them in Fort William, but who knows. So I've just decided something really crazy. I'm going to try and walk to Fort William, which is another 14 miles, about a 6-hour walk. It's 1:30. I've already done 9 miles. But I bought some fire starting kit this time, so if I don't make it, at least I'll have a fire. I just need to find some coverage to sleep in, and I might be able to dry my stuff out because my boots are absolutely sodden. It's going to be a real challenge, this part, but if I do it, that'll be the end of my leg, which would be really good, and then I'll be on my last leg. So it's going to be hard, but I'm going to do it. I just found a forest just here. It looks like I could probably maybe camp in it. There's like an actual stupid camera trail that goes straight through it. So it means I could probably camp on any part of the trail. It might be okay. It might be pretty waterproof. The only thing is I can hear the floor squelching, so it's maybe not as waterproof as I'd like it to be, but I think it's going to be more waterproof than anywhere else. That looks like a shelter. Oh, no way. Oh, that's pretty cool. Someone's actually made a shelter. Actual like lean-to shelter. I could probably use that. That might be quite helpful. Yeah. Well, I've got my fire going. Right next to my boots. That look like they're about to burn now, but I think they're going to be okay. Whoa. Ugh. Sorry, the smoke is right in my eyes. There you go. Hopefully my boots will be able to dry. I'll hopefully be able to cook my dinner on here, and it will hopefully keep me nice and warm tonight. All my clothes hanging here. We'll see. At the very least, it makes me feel good. I feel like this is a really fitting end to my 4th leg in Scotland, in probably the most wildest place I've ever been. Just sat there in front of the fire next to my bivvy, trying to dry all my clothes out. What an absolute treat. Once I get into Fort William tomorrow, I'll be on the last leg of my journey. I've got about 200 miles until I get to John O'Groats. We're walking along the Caledonian Canal via the Great Glen Way, and then I'll be finally on to the last tiny road that will lead me to the absolute top of our whole island. Can't believe I've walked 900 miles. It's so close to the end. In some ways I don't want it to end, really. Although I get frustrated and I'm wet and cold, and you know, the days can be long walking, but I'm in the wild, I'm out doing what I love. Such a beautiful world. Good morning. Good morning. Well, it wasn't too much of a bad night. The only thing I can complain about is it was cold. It didn't rain. And it was a bit uncomfortable. But it was very, very cold. I had to like properly wrap up. That's why I had this on my face, just to keep my face warm. Hat on, as much clothes as I could have on. I'm really not looking forward to putting on wet clothes, but this is it. This is the last day of the 4th leg now. Well, I'm nearly ready now. I'm just putting my socks on, and the worst feeling in the world is putting on wet socks. But there's absolutely no point in putting my dry socks, these socks, into wet boots and then just having 2 pairs of wet socks because they're just going to get wet. So I've got to try and put these on. They're horrible. It's so cold and so ugh. So not nice. But then I'm going to go into Fort William and hopefully I'll be able to dry everything out. Okay, so I'm more or less ready to go now. I'm just leaving Big Bertha behind for a minute because there's an ancient citadel that way, not too far away. So I think I'm going to go see that while I'm here. And then head down to Fort William. Definitely up in the mountains now, it's really windy. I'm nearly at the top now, I've just got to follow this little path up. But that's only the shoulder of Glen Nevis. Up there is like the summit. It just gives you an idea of how big Glen Nevis is. Whew! So this is where the citadel used to be, and no one really knows why it got burnt down, but basically the evidence shows that it had to be burnt down on purpose because the fire was so hot it actually melted rock, and so it couldn't have just been an accident. Some people think it was some sort of a tribute to a dying chief, and other people think that maybe it was burnt by enemies, but nobody really knows. Just imagine staying up here and living up here. Well, the view's amazing, but the wind is just so strong. Whew! Oh, this wind's just got really strong now. Bloody hell! It's almost like pushing me back. I have to almost fight it to get down. Holy shit! It's so strong, it's actually making me a bit nervous to go down that. It's quite steep. And the window! It's fucking strong! Ah! Try and get down this now. Oh shit! It's so steep! Okay. It's not that steep. It's not that bad, it's just the wind is pushing me. But luckily it's not pushing me off the mountain, it's pushing me into the mountain, so that's okay. Okay, I'm back down from the fort now and I'm heading into Fort William. This here is known as the wishing stone, and if you touch it you can make a wish. But I ain't telling you what that is because it won't come true. So this pretty much marks the end of the West Highland Way for me, so that's the end of my leg, thank God. So I get to have a little break now, and there's a Wetherspoon, so cheap beer, and I'm going to try and get some haggis, because I haven't tried that one yet, and that's pretty much it.
Finally get to have some haggis in Scotland, and it looks really, really good. It was finally the end of my walk on the West Highland Way through the rugged mountains of Scotland. I was so proud of myself, and I couldn't believe how far I'd come. 900 miles. I made so many friends on this small part of my 1,400 mile journey, and I was so happy to see them again at the end, one more time. 3, 2,